Hello and welcome back. The Badraven here today. We are going to do the follow-up video I was talking about in my previous video of the questions videos for the Badraven. So the Badraven is here and we're ready to answer the questions that have been asked on the comment section. I'll start this off with the first couple of comments are from the same guy, my buddy Aaron, that I talk about a lot, that lives overseas. He asked me, well, the first question Aaron asked me is, do you have a 5.1 surround sound system, and if so, what do you think of it? A 5.1 surround system, I do have it. I do have one, and I've had it for several years. It's a Nokia, I think it's pronounced Onkyo. I bought it back when I've got a projection screen in my a projector and a projection screen in my house. It shoots about 150-inch, picture. So I bought a nice sound system. Well, a value sound system for me, because I couldn't really afford that really huge, but it's a nice sound system either way, and it's a 5.1, and I use it with my projector. It adds tremendous. If you've never watched a movie with the 5.1 surround, it adds so much more. It's like watching a different movie. You see a movie on TV and the sound is so hollow. It's got a hollow sound. You don't get all what the director intended for you to get. The airplanes flying around your head, or the bombs exploding, or the audience cheering from different parts of surrounding your head and stuff like that. The rain, the climate or atmosphere around you. You don't get all that you would get in a movie without a 5.1 surround. And I know they got a 7.1, all this kind of stuff. I haven't upgraded to that many speakers yet, but I still enjoy mine with the nice bass, the rumble, and it just blows you away when you see it done correctly in an action movie, especially. It just blows you away, and you're like, man, this is the most awesome experience ever, because it makes movies, gives it that much more oomph, to it. So that is it's a surround system I have. It wasn't a very expensive one. I'm wanting to say I paid about $200, $400, somewhere in that range for, I can't remember, several years back. I had a tax return I used on it, to buy it, and it's an awesome system, and that's what I have. He asked another one, Aaron does, another question. It says, what's your favorite analog video format and why? And you all know the Badraven from his past videos. I like all different types of formats. I like my VHS, which is analog. My Laserdiscs are analog. And I would have to say I like the VHS better, the analog from the VHS, because it's what I grew up with. It's what I remember. I fell in love with analog even before I knew it was analog. You know what I'm saying? So it was the main part of my viewing of movies. So that would be the most popular format that I would have to say. Because VHS, I have so many great experiences with collecting those movies, recording those movies, taking those movies with me everywhere I went, like to family members and stuff when I owned them, getting other people to watch certain movies on that format. So it holds the most precious spot in my heart. So I would have to say the best analog one would be the VHS format. So thanks for those two questions, Aaron. I appreciate those. All right, we go on to Depths of Despair. Abyss is, you went and checked out his site yet? He's got a website called Depths of Despair, and his character name is Abyss. So thanks, Abyss, for this question you got here. What are your thoughts on the current marketing of films, especially Batman vs. Superman and the Dark Universe, etc.? The marketing of Batman vs. Superman, it's just like Marvel to me. They glut you to death with trailers and trailers, and they want their massive universes, and both of them. DC wants their massive universe. Marvel wants their massive universe. So you're constantly bombarded with all these different movies coming out. And don't get me wrong, I like the Marvel stuff, and I like some of the DC stuff. Batman versus Superman, visually wise and stuff like that, seeing Superman and Batman in the same movie, Fighting Hitler was a great experience for me. But as far as the story went, and having to throw Wonder Woman and whole Justice League in there, I could go on forever about that. I have a video talking about how Marvel versus DC on that. I know this is a separate question, but as far as the marketing goes, I think they go overboard with the marketing. You see it everywhere, and I'm getting really, really tired, and my son wants me to do a video on all the trailers that come out for these movies, and the part 1 trailer, 2 trailer, 3 trailer, final trailer, the exclusive first 10 minutes of the film or something, all this baloney. They're overdoing that as far as marketing the movie. I mean, if you're that insecure that you can't bring people in the movie for Batman versus Superman or Spider-Man, that is totally bizarre, because these are well-known characters. You shouldn't have to show the entire movie. That's one of the main beefs I had with the Spider-Man Homecoming, because they had completely... I mean, I'd seen the whole movie before I ever sat down there, so it was kind of a letdown. And if I hadn't seen it all, maybe I would have liked it a lot better. I mean, so, movie companies, get your act together. Get somebody up there. Just what happened to the old days when you had to see like movies like E.T. and stuff and Jaws? They didn't even, when you watched the previews, you didn't even see the main, you didn't see E.T. on the previews. You didn't see the shark. I saw the fin. I mean, you never saw the shark attacking on the trailer. That would have totally ruined the movie. But now they think that they have to show you, set up the movie, show you the conflict of the movie, and show you how it's resolved before you get into the trailer. The trailers are way too long, and they show way too much. And I am going to do a video on this someday, because it's ridiculous how they ruin stuff. They ruined Terminator Genesis for me, because the poster gave away a lot of the characters' situations. So the marketing of Batman vs. Superman is no different. It's the total same overkill. Time the movie came out, I was almost sick of even wanting to go see it. Now, as for the Dark Universe, I've not watched The Mummy. And I can't say I'm a real classic horror fan. I do like werewolves. On my past videos of the American Werewolf in London and Silver Bullet. And I even like some of the Underworld. I like Underworld werewolves too. I mean, there's all different types of werewolf movies I like. And I like vampire movies, and I like who was the rest of them? You got Frankenstein, you got werewolves, Dracula, and the Mummy. I watched the old Mummy movies, as far as not the old Mummy movies, but one with Brendan Fraser in it. And the first one was pretty good. I thought it was a good action movie. It wasn't really a horror for me. I just felt like an action movie that had horror elements in it. But I haven't watched the new one with Tom Cruise in it. And I know they're wanting to explore into the Dark Universe. They want to make a Dark Universe where they're going to have Frankenstein, Wolfman, the Mummy, a few others in there, Dracula. I wouldn't mind to see them. Like I said, I haven't seen Mummy, so the tell if it's good. I heard it was not that great. And I heard people say it's awesome, so I'm going to have to sit down and watch it all. I started watching it one day and got like the first 30 minutes and kind of doing other things and didn't finish it up. But I'll have to kind of check back with them. I mean, I would like for them, I like those types of movies. I think it would be, I don't think it necessarily needs a universe. I think Godzilla is getting his own universe with King Kong. Transformers have to have a universe. Everybody wants a universe. Just because Marvel did it or whatever, you can have an original idea and not go that route, because some movies don't need a universe. I hate to say it. Some movies don't need more than one movie. They don't even need a sequel. They kind of wrap it all up in one, and they try to drag it out for 2 or 3 movies. It's all in what you like, I guess. I wouldn't be against the Dark Universe at all. I think it would be, if done right, I think it could be really cool. So thank you, Depth of Despair Abyss. I appreciate that question. Now we go on to the next question. Tomb Horror wrote, I wonder what you think about what is happening with physical media, and if you think that it is something that will eventually disappear. I did a video on this at the beginning maybe of my channel, digital media versus physical media. So this question really resonates with me as far as what I think about this. Right now, I'm scared, and I said it in the video too the same way. And me and my son have talked about this several times. I'm scared of what the movie companies are going to do with the actual physical copies of movies. Now that you have ultra high def 4K Blu-rays, it's really the most ultimate version of the film you can get. Crystal clear sound, perfect picture quality, even better than the movie theaters can show. I know they don't want copies of that floating around if somebody can learn how to hack. So I can see why they want that more digitally, so that way they can kind of control it. But I don't like the way the studios kind of do. They don't really, they wouldn't really want us to even own the movies if they had their way. They would have us paying like $1 every time we even watched it, and not even having owned the physical copies if they had their way. So, I mean, they want to make every cent they can. They don't want you to physically, I believe in my heart, they don't want you to physically own any of the movie. I mean, be like a pay-per-play thing, or like a pay-per-view thing like they got now. I'm afraid with all this new technology and stuff, and how they're kind of dipping their toe in the water as far as the digital copy, letting you have your own digital movies out there. I mean, and like I said, I have the Vudu and stuff, and I put all my movies in there, and it's very convenient, and I like it. And they're saying, oh, those are yours. You don't have to worry about those. They'll always be there. But I'm afraid, like down the line, they're going to say, well, you're keeping these in here, and the storage is getting short for your locker of movies here. I think you should pay us $1 or $2 a month, or $1 or $2 a year, and then get down to like eventually add like $10 a month or something like that, where you can always have these movies, and we'll keep them there for you. And I don't want it to get to that, because you're pretty much borrowing them from them. You're not owning them. And I love holding my media. I love putting it in my hand. I like looking at it, I like reading it from the box. Not talking off a computer screen. I love the physical artwork that you can touch and look at and display. I know you can display it on a monitor, but that's not the same thing. You don't have to plug it in to look at it. You know what I'm saying? It's right there in front of you. So that's my biggest concern with the physical media and the stuff like that. I'm afraid that it's heading, like I told my son, it's heading to a path where we'll not, you won't have, like in the Badraven's nest, I have all of them behind me, and you've seen them all like that. And I'm afraid that it's going to be like ancient, and I don't want to lose that. I mean, I'm afraid my son, when he tells his kids later on, he'll be like, I don't care whether it's physical. His kids will be saying, I don't care if it's a physical media. Why are you making such a big deal about it? And I would hate that for the next generation, not being able to own their own stuff and being able to display it like I do now. And I'm afraid it's coming, though. I'm afraid the way the technology is going, it's going to be dead. So I appreciate Tomb Horror for that question. That was a really good question, and I'm glad you like the channel, and I like your stuff too. I like Death of the Sparrow stuff, and I like Aaron's comments on my stuff too. I mean, I appreciate those questions that I did get. I didn't get any other than those questions, but I'm gonna ask some of my own questions. I got, why am I on YouTube? This question I came up with. I always wanted to do a review type channel. Started being on YouTube, watching YouTube videos and stuff, and one day me and Andrew, Andrew basically, he saw a reviewer, and his name was Pizzelle, and he was doing a box set of the Halloween box set, or maybe it was the Friday the 13th. It was one of the two, and he kind of showed it to me, and I started watching some of Pizzelle's videos, and I liked the way he set up his reviews and talked about the movies he had either watched or he had in his collection. He's amazing, basically a horror thing, but he does all horror, and he does collectibles. He does all different types of things. I really was impressed with what he had set up there. And we went to Scarefest 9 last year in September, and I told Andrew, I'm watching his videos. He would say he's from Kentucky, and I said, well, he might actually come. And I think he had went to some of the other Scarefests before. I said, we might run into Pizzelle down there. And we turned around, literally, and looked over our shoulder, and there was Pizzelle. And I was like, pointed at Andrew and said, there's Pizzelle behind us. And he saw us. He didn't know who we were from Adam, of course. He saw us, and I said, hey, I really like your videos. I just wanted to introduce myself. I said, I'm Steve and Andrew. And I said, we watch your videos and we really enjoy them. And he liked that, and he took a picture with us. I said, once you put our names on your video, if you do a video about this, I would like for you to say something about it. And he did in his Scarefest video, Scarefest 9 video. You can check his site, Pizzelle, Pizzowell. He talked about meeting us, and I thought that was super cool and a super great guy to meet. He really impressed me, so I kind of like patterned my channel after him. That gave me a catalyst to get my butt in gear and start doing something I'd like to do, because I always wanted to do it. So thanks to Pizzelle, I was able to, stick my foot out there, and I asked him a few questions about how he got started and all that, and how what editing software he used, and he was kind enough and friendly enough to tell me, and I really appreciate to this day, Pizzelle, for you doing that. It really helped me out. I don't care if my channel, ever gets to a lofty, 10,000 subscribers or whatever. I love doing it. I love talking about movies. I love being able to tell you about my experiences. I mean, my reviews, I tried to have what I was going through at the time, what I felt like at the time, what was happening to me at the time with my videos, so you can kind of get a understanding of where I come from and why I enjoy this type of stuff. So that was why I started my channel. Okay, another question I asked myself: how did you come up with the name Badraven? Now, this is kind of I'll try not to make this video real long, but this is kind of a weird way of coming up with the name Badraven. Back in it was 1997. I was really into wrestling. I just went through a divorce from my first wife and hadn't met my second wife yet, and I had lost a lot of weight, and I was working out and everything, and I started watching wrestling a lot. I used to like wrestling when I was a kid. So in 97, WCW was the big thing. So I started watching that show, and I was trying to change my whole style, the way I was, and not be the same guy I was when I was married to my first wife, and I wanted to change my whole persona. I wanted to be a different type of person. Little did I know I'm always going to be me, no matter what. But despite that, I really liked watching it. And there was a wrestler that came from ECW called Raven. And he was getting ready to be on the WCW show, and they did a crossover. He had crossed over into the WCW. And I really liked his look. He had the long, stringy blonde hair, and the goatee and stuff, and muscular guy, and he was like a bad guy. I wanted to. By then I was wanting to go to the bad guy stage, because I'd never been a kind of a person that was just thought of himself type thing, and I was wanting to change my persona to be more of a tough guy type thing. I watched him, and I was impressed with him, and he, the guy that played the Raven character was Scott Levy. And I never met him. We went to Tennessee once to watch a house show of WCW, because we were all into my nieces and nephew were really into it, the Goldberg and all that kind of stuff, and my brother-in-law Lloyd. And we all went down there, got tickets, and Raven was there. So I actually got to see him wrestle. I was just impressed with him. So that name stuck with me, Raven, and I liked all the stuff about that. And we went to a show in Lexington at the Rupp Arena. He was there at that too, and I made a sign up. And if I found a picture and showing how skinny I was, and my hair was long at the time, I'll post it. But if I can't find it, I won't be able to put it on here. But anyway, I really got into his character. And when I started getting into computers later on, my computer and stuff, you know how you have to make a username. And I wanted to put Raven as my username. And when people use a lot of the names up, you can't use that name. Like the Raven had already been used. So I was trying to think of kind of what to put with it so I could use Raven in the name. And I think, well, he's a bad guy. He's a bad Raven. He's bad and he's Raven. So I put it as one word, Bad Raven. So that was been my username for a long time. So when I started this video up years later, making these YouTube videos, I was trying to I didn't want to keep putting my name Steve on everything. You know, it just sounded so bland. Steve's videos. I think in some of my earlier videos you'll say Steve's movie reviews, and that just sounded so tacky. So, and I don't want to put, you know, my last name on there either, and I wanted to put something that had a little character. And I thought Badraven. I started using the name Badraven, and it kind of stuck, and I really, you know, like it for that. So that, thanks to Scott Levy and thinking of the Raven stuff, I kind of used that as my jumping off point for Badraven. So that's how that started. Okay, my other question to myself is, why do I say Badraven is your friend? Well, for one reason I say, you know, at the end of my videos I say, remember the Badraven is your friend. It's because Badraven in the name sounds like I'm a bad person, and I want you to know that I am not. And I want you to know that Badraven is a character that enjoys talking to you, enjoys letting you know all this stuff about the movie, and wants to help you to find movies that maybe you don't know anything about. And pretty, you know, some of mine are pretty obvious choices right now, but I mean, I want you to love movies as much as I love movies. So that's one reason I say, you know, remember the Badraven is your friend, because I want you to come back and watch me and be able to know you're in a friendly environment with me, and that I really care about what I say. So that was my, you know, answer video, and I appreciate every one of the questions I did get, and I thank everybody for watching my videos. And I just want to leave you there, because it's probably running very long, and I don't want to bore you to death. But just remember, the Badraven is your friend, and we appreciate all of the views that we get. And we'll let you go, and we'll talk to you later. Goodbye.